welcome. I'm Monica Price and you're watching Cuppa TV. On today's show, I chat with Tom Laws, owner of the oldest working cinema in the UK, which is based in Birmingham. I'm also joined by a man who has made the music industry his life and still makes those ladies swoon. It's ex-drifter Roy G. Hemmings. And the Mayor and Mayoress of Walsall join me to talk about their town. Now, my first guest is the owner of the iconic Electric Cinema in Birmingham that started its life in 1909 with silent movies, became a news theatre during the Second World War, and now is a popular venue for cinema goers everywhere. Please welcome Tom Laws. Tom, thank you for coming on Cuppa TV. Great to see you. And I mean, it is such a wonderful cinema. Tell me about it.
Okay, so it's the oldest cinema in the UK. It was built in 1909, so it's got a heck of a history. Obviously it showed silent films up until the 1920s when sound came about. And a lot of the films back then were quite short, so most of them would have been quite short films. And then it closed for a while and it was rebuilt in the 1930s and it changed its name to the Tatler, so it originally was the Electric. And it was a news theatre and it showed news and cartoons and any older viewers may remember going there when it was the Tatler, and it was used as a bit of a babysitting service because parents would go to the ballroom and they would drop their kids off and the kids would go and watch rolling cartoons or rolling news. And it was opposite the station, so you would just pay to go in and you would just sit there for a bit in the warm, wait for your train, and and this is interesting because obviously you go to stations today and they often have a big news screen, don't they?
Yes, that's right, they do.
So kind of nothing's changed in that sense. And it ran like that for a while, and then in the 1970s and part of the 80s, it had a rather, shall we say, interesting period where
Would you like to share that with us?
Well, it showed what were called at the time continental films. So, and some of them were genuinely continental films, and some of them weren't. So let's just leave it there. And then in the 1990s, it changed its name back to the Electric, and it became an art house cinema. But it really, really struggled. And then I bought it in 2004.
Was it? And it was derelict, was that right?
And it was derelict, yeah. And I thought, you know what? I want to make a cinema that is like my living room.
How fantastic is
so
that?
that was the idea. And also, interestingly, because this show is for women, I wanted to create a cinema that actually appealed to women more than it appealed to men. And one of the reasons being is that the multiplexes tend to be, certainly 10 years ago, they were more male-orientated because that was the largest cinema-going demographic, young men.
Really?
Going to see action films. Now, we do a little bit of that at the Electric, but we do really well with films like 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah. Now, tell me what services you provide for the women. Why is it so unique?
Well, we have sofas, and our unique selling point, which may be the only cinema in the world that does it, is that we have text waiter service. Because we have these sofas at the back, you can send a text, and someone will bring you drinks while you watch the film, because they sneak in. And then they bring you the drinks and then they go again. So and then you just pay when you leave.
Is that to enhance the experience, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because I wanted to, as I say, I wanted to create something that was like my living room. So I put lamps in there and sofas and comfy seating and all the rest of it. And then I wanted to, the kind of last thing, the last piece of the jigsaw was when I was sitting watching a film and I hadn't got a drink, and I sent a text to a colleague who was on the bar, and this is when we just opened, and I said, "Oh, can you bring me a beer?" And he was, "Oh yes, of course, of course."
Was that the moment?
It was the eureka moment, and then and because all the sofas were they're named after silent film stars, Laurel and Hardy and so on, and so you can, because you know the name of your sofa, you say you're on the Humphrey Bogart sofa, you can say, "Can I have 2 glasses of wine to Bogart, please?" And then they bring the wine.
That's amazing. And you've got other strings to your bow as well, haven't you? What else do you do?
I bought the cinema because I'm a film director. I write music for film as well, but these days I'm mostly a film director and a writer. I directed a film in 2012 called The Last Projectionist, which was the history of the Electric, so there's a bit of a love letter there. But it was also about the end of celluloid, because film is no longer really being used and everything is now digital, which meant all the projectionists across the country kind of lost their jobs. Not all of them, but most of them did, across the world. And it was really quite successful. It played in 80 cinemas in the UK, and it played in France and Germany, and it even sold in Taiwan. And it's just bizarre to think people in Taiwan watching a film about the Electric in Birmingham, but this is a real thing that happened, with Chinese subtitles. And now I'm directing a film called Monochrome, which is a thriller. And some of it has been shot in Birmingham, and some of it in Worcestershire, and some of it in Devon, and all over the country. But that is in post-production now, so we're just finishing the editing, and then I shall be writing the score, and I shall be going to Prague with the Prague Philharmonic over there to score that. And then the film,
exciting.
Yeah, the film will be released probably end of this year, beginning of next.
Brilliant. Well, Tom, we've got to leave it there, but it's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for asking me.
Really interesting. Thank you. Now, my next guest started his love affair with soul music in the mid-70s. He then went to join the world-famous The Drifters, playing all around the world, entertaining and thrilling audiences with his sultry, soulful sounds, such as Under the Boardwalk. Please welcome the man that is the soul-singing legend, Roy Jean Hemmings. Hello, Roy. After that introduction, where can we go from there?
Down, I suppose.
No, we can only go up.
Good,
Roy, it's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for coming on Cuppa TV.
Thank you for inviting me.
I think my first question to you is, where did it all begin, Roy?
Wow, that's going back some. Apparently, I've been doing this since I was able to speak, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, just things we did. I'd love to say, oh, my father was a preacher and I come from the church, but sorry, it's not. It's just something I did. I suppose my parents had good voices, I suppose, so that's it.
And did it start at an early age? Was it something, was you singing from a very early age?
Not sort of intentionally, but yeah, you know, we just guys who was just singing and do. As a matter of fact, I started out also playing like bass guitar. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you know, everybody wanted to go front and sing because, like, you know, that's where the spotlight was, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So I just literally drifted into that position, to be quite honest.
Tell me, what sort of made you think that you wanted to do this for the rest of your life? This was going to be your career. Was there anyone that inspired you particularly?
Well, once I got out front, I just felt it just fall into place. But yeah, I mean, all the guys, Otis Redding, go way back there. You know, that was most of my stuff. Even some, you're not going to believe this, but even some blue beat and ska, like Prince Buster and that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, my sort of taste in music just really does go right across the board. It's one of the best period. I mean, what a lot of people don't recognize, they talk about 60s music, but they intend to forget that in the 60s, soul was the major force behind the music scene. Yeah. Sometimes I said that I kind of laugh a little bit when you look at the TV and it says 60s music, and like you very rarely see a soul sort of thing in there. But if you check the charts and stuff in the 60s and the 70s, it was all soul.
It had a major, wasn't it? It was a major to the music industry.
Yeah, that's when Motown came on the scene, and Motown was just like, you know, amazing.
Was there any one particular person, or maybe somebody that you helped you along your career path, maybe, or somebody that?
Well, to be quite honest, helping me along my career path was pretty much Mrs. Treadwell, who actually owns the Drifters. I have to give her that, you know, because she was the one who saw me and said, oh, you know, we want you in the group. So yeah, that. But most, as far as artists is concerned, there's been a lot of artists, and where do you start? You know, where do you start?
But you're actually the longest serving member of the Drifters.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Would you like to share that with me, Roy?
No, I just got in there and liked what I was doing and touring the world, and fantastic audience. Drifters fans are probably some of the best fans you'll ever meet. Very loyal. Up to this day, although I'm not in the Drifters, with my show, reach out to Motown, or if you want to call it Roy Hemmings Motown Show, you can come and see us.
Have you got a favourite? Have you got a favourite song that you?
Not really, to be quite honest, because some of my favorite Drifter songs are B-sides. Yeah. We don't call it B-sides anymore. You don't have B-sides anymore.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, we don't say that anymore. Saturday Night at the Movies was one of mine.
One of the most favorite, the audience favorite, is Saturday Night at the Movies. Also, Under the Boardwalk, and Down at the Club. Yes. I mean, it's a string. Kissing in the Back Row. Yes. You know, I'll be here all day.
Yeah.
You know,
but Under the Boardwalk, I mean, particularly that one, that was covered. I mean, so many people have covered that song, haven't they?
So many people all over the world, different languages, etc. Yeah, definitely. Bruce Willis had a big hit with that too.
Yes, he did. That's right. And do you think the music industry's changed, Roy?
Oh gosh, undoubtedly, it has changed.
For the better, or?
In certain cases, I think internet and stuff, I think it cheapens the star quality of it all, because just about any Tom, Dick and Harry can you know, but when back in the day, you had to be doing something specific to be able to do it. Or you have to have a hit record. You know, when we first went on Top of the Pops, it's because we had a hit record, you know. It has changed. It makes music more accessible, especially for artists that doesn't have a record deal. You can stay in your bedroom, knock up a beat, and next thing you know, it's on the internet, which is international straight away. You don't need a record company. But I would have to say, when you look around you, and all the artists that's making the big bucks or making the big bang are the guys who's actually with record label, with people who knows what they're doing.
Well, Roy, we're going to take a quick break there. So we're going to come back and join us after the break with the lovely Roy G. Hemmings and for some more chat. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm still here talking to soul singing legend Roy G. Hemmings. Roy, it's been a pleasure. I think we could sit here all day and talk to you. But you know, tell me now about what you're doing now. What are you doing now?
We're just touring.
And what's the name of your band?
Right. You gotta listen up for this now.
Okay.
It's literally
Everybody's listening.
It's just the Roy Hemmings show, basically. But the band itself is called the Dictionary of Soul. So we always try and incorporate that with it.
Fantastic.
And the Dictionary of Soul was the title of a Otis Redding album, as a matter of fact. So yeah, it's all tied in. So Roy Hemmings' Dictionary of Soul is what it is, and we cover Motown. We do some drifters, and I also do some solo performances. As a matter of fact, I do a lot of different countries as a solo artist.
So you're still touring the world?
Oh my gosh, yeah, we got a big cruise that starts in, we fly out to Barbados on April 12th, and then we'll be doing several of the West Indian Islands, and then we come back into Spain, and then come back here, and then
fantastic.
Yeah, several countries that I've got this year.
And your audiences, I mean, they must love you. It must be wonderful to see.
Well, it has been said, yeah.
We could be honest.
Yeah. The thing what people might be surprised about is the age group.
Yes.
I mean, it's phenomenal because, take for instance, Drifter songs are played in most commercials, and if you listen to a lot of commercials now as well, you find there's a lot of Northern Soul songs in the commercials. So people sort of tie that in with us. And we'll go to audiences now, and there'll be youngsters, there'll be older ones, and it's a fantastic mix which creates a fantastic atmosphere.
Well, isn't that great though, that you can engage with the young, and someone like myself who who remembers remembers all your records and still plays them. But I think it's good though that the young are engaging into soul music. Do you think that's important?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Any kind of music is important. Soul music is important for me because obviously they're my future audience. So I don't know how long I'll be here, but I mean, as long as I'm here, it's a very important part. Yeah.
And are you recording at the moment, Roy?
Yeah, I've started doing a new album.
Oh, fantastic! What's that called?
Well, I've not really got a name for it yet. I think that's probably going to be something. See, my first album was called No Afro, No Sequins, No Flares, right? That was like a little bit of dig, and I didn't want people to come around and think that I still got a big afro, because that was back in the day. And the next album was called All Talked Out. So now I'm a bit stuck to where to go next. So I haven't actually got a name.
Okay, so it's a working title.
It's a working title.
And have you got a single?
Yeah, I have a single on iTunes right now. It's called Lonely Without You.
Fantastic.
And it's doing okay. I'm hoping to pick up some radio play on that, but we'll see. We'll see.
Again, do you find, is it just on iTunes, that particular
No,
single?
I think from what I know with all this download thing, you can go any place and get it. You know, Tesco's, whatever. Oh, there are other supermarkets, by the way.
Yes, there are other supermarkets. But, I mean, now I've got to ask you though, tell me about the White House.
Oh, okay.
What happened there?
The White House, that was back in 1996, thereabout, and we were invited to the White House by President Clinton, who at the time was president. And when he was at university, they had a passing out on the night President Kennedy got shot. So they had to cancel it. And he then, this is so weird, at that particular point said, when I get to the White House, I will invite all you guys and we will have a celebration, we'll have a party. And lo and behold, that was exactly what happened. What he did was, the music they were dancing to at the time was like Drifters, Four Tops, Temptations, you know, like the
Yes.
Motown thing, Chuck Berry.
Yes.
Detroit Spinners. So all these guys was invited there as well. So it wasn't just us. We were like with an array of artists.
Amazing party.
I was in my own world that day because like there's so many different guys.
Yes.
I look up to some guys I'd met before, some I hadn't. Chuck Berry, which is amazing, and it was great. And we had a tour of the White House.
Fantastic.
It was amazing. It was
I
amazing.
mean, what wonderful opportunities.
Oh, it was amazing.
You've had an amazing career.
Well, for a country boy like me, that was like just it. That was just fantastic. And he actually remembers your name.
Oh,
He comes
how
up to you
wonderful.
all the time and he calls you by your name.
That's
And
so wonderful.
I don't know how he does it, but who cares?
No.
You know.
Well, Roy, we've got to finish it there, unfortunately,
okay,
but it's
that's cool.
absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for coming along. It's been so great. Thank
It's
you
an
so much.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Joining me now is someone who has been involved in local politics and has been a community champion and activist for the last 40 years and spent his time actively promoting and supporting his seat. Please welcome the Mayor of Walsall, Peter Smith, and Mayoress Laura Barnes. Very welcome to you both. Thank you so much for coming on Cuppa TV.
Thank you, Monica.
Wonderful to see you in all your splendour.
Thank you.
So, first question to you actually, Councillor Peter, how does it work becoming a mayor?
Well, to be mayor, you have to be a councillor.
All right.
Walsall has 60 councillors, 3 for each ward, and the 60 councillors decide who to offer the mayoralty to, and it's offered to the councillor who's clocked up the most years' service. That's the way the system works at the minute, irrespective of their particular party views, or political views.
And then you're appointed mayor, and
Yes.
then the mayoress, how does she get appointed?
Well, I was lucky enough to be asked by my uncle, Pete, to do this role. So, of course, I said yes, jumped at the chance. So.
And what sort of things do you do? How are your days spent?
Oh, every day is different.
Yes.
Is that good?
Absolutely.
Is that good? Do you have different days?
It's very
Wonderful.
varied. Yeah.
There's lots of boring bits like emails and letters to read and to write. There's that side of it. There's an awful lot of background work, backroom work. But we make visits to old people's homes, to schools when invited. We're invited to give out certificates at award ceremonies, open shops and new businesses.
Do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Certainly,
Yeah.
yes.
Is it? Do you think it's something of value to the community? Do you think the people of Walsall appreciate what you do and they're happy to have a mayor and mayoress?
I think so. The mayor's role is a civic role rather than a sharp political role. We're not elected mayors in Walsall, and therefore it's a role where you have to be fair to all sorts, whatever the political views, religious views and so on, with the ambassadors of the town, and our role is to spread the word about the good things that are going on in our borough, and there's so much positive work being done
Yes.
by hundreds, possibly thousands of unsung heroes that are making a difference to the lives of others, and if anything, that's what we wish to promote. Those folk who are making a difference to the lives of others.
So it's kind of highlighting really what's going on in your town.
It is.
That, you know, you're actively supporting and highlighting what's going on in your town. So
That's right.
what is going on? What's happening in Walsall?
There's lots of things happening in Walsall. There are many different things happening that, like I say, people don't realise in their communities. So people are getting together, raising money for various charities, getting together to help each other out. There's a really good community spirit in Walsall, which doing this role, we're really lucky because we get to see that every day. And to be honest, before I did this role, I had no idea of what it's really like, and it's fantastic to see.
I don't think anybody really knows.
No, I don't think they do.
Meeting you today, I don't think anybody really knows exactly what you do. But you've got a big charity event coming up.
We certainly
Is that-
have.
Would you like to tell us about that?
Yes, it's our flagship charity event. The famous Noddy Holder, who's a Walsall lad, born and bred here, is coming down to host from 7 o'clock right the way through till midnight a 60s Mania concert at the Town Hall on Friday the 27th of March.
Also this month.
Yes, coming very soon. And tickets are available from the Town Hall's box office.
Great. And again, so that's something you're actively sort of promoting at the moment, are you, to support the community? Yeah. And isn't Noddy Holder, isn't he a free man of the
Yes,
of
we made Noddy Holder a freeman of the borough.
That's it, yes.
last June, just a couple of weeks after I became mayor. And he's well loved in Walsall. You know, and the coincidence is, I found out only yesterday that on the 27th of March, the day is coming down to host our show, 50 years to the day, 50 years ago, 27th of March 1965, he was actually playing on the stage of Walsall Town Hall.
No.
Not as Slade then.
No.
I think it was Brett, someone in the Mavericks.
That's an exclusive here on Cuppa TV. We like that. Well, it's been wonderful. Well, we've got to leave it there, I'm afraid.
Okay,
thank you so much, both of you, for coming on board. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
That's it for today. I would like to thank all of my guests for joining me here on Cuppa TV. And if you would like to get in touch with us, you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at Big Centre TV, or email the show. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.